And our Andrew Kinsey is live in the Motor City at Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, where public viewing is underway. Andrew.
Yeah, Amanda, today marking day 104 of celebrations and memorials honoring Aretha Franklin here in the Motor City. You know, Aretha loved this city, and today that love is being returned to her in a major way. There has been a celebratory scene out here. Take a look behind me. You can see a long line of people still showing up at this lunchtime hour at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History to pay their respects. People started lining up here Monday night for their chance to see Aretha Franklin one final time. Now, this is the public's only chance to have this one-on-one moment because her funeral service Friday is for family, friends, and dignitaries. Now, take a look at this video we shot earlier today. This is video of Aretha's gold casket being wheeled into the museum this morning. You see there a group of fans looking on, recording the moment with their cell phones. As you know, the Queen of Soul died nearly 2 weeks ago here in Detroit after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Her incredible career spanning some 5 decades and included 18 Grammy wins. She became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and was the youngest recipient of the Kennedy Center honor. Now, but all those accolades don't really add up to much for the fans we spoke with today. They say her music is what's key about her life.
That voice, it would never be replaced.
She just had a lot of class and respect, and you know, she was just an awesome person, and the name, the Queen, she lived up to it.
Here's a look at the hours of the viewing here. The viewing ends tonight at 9 p.m. It resumes tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thursday, Aretha Franklin's body would be moved to New Bethel Baptist Church for a viewing there. That's the church where she got her music started with gospel music and where her father once preached. Then her funeral service will be held Friday. We'll be streaming that live at WTOL.com. City officials expecting lots, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people to inundate Detroit over the next few days, many of those from our area, the Toledo area. Coming up tonight at 5, I'm working on that angle of the story. Folks coming from Toledo to the Motor City to say a final goodbye. For now, we are live in Midtown Detroit. Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.
Andrew, thank you.
Our Andrew Kinsey is live in the Motor City at Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, where Toledo is being represented during a public viewing for the music icon. Andrew.
Yeah, Chrissy, this is a pretty big day here in the Motor City, a city loved so dearly by Aretha Franklin. We just checked, and since 9 o'clock this morning, more than 9,000 people have made their way inside to say a final goodbye to the Queen of Soul. For many, this is what they needed to come to grips with the loss of the Queen, a loss felt across the country, even with fans from Toledo.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me.
Tributes for a beloved Queen on a farewell tour.
R-E-S-P-C-T, take care, TCB. Oh.
Thousands of Aretha Franklin fans braved the heat Tuesday in Detroit to see the music icon one last time.
She is just as beautiful today as she has ever been.
The 76-year-old Queen of Soul died back on August 16th after a battle with pancreatic cancer, leaving behind an unmatched musical legacy spanning nearly 6 decades.
She's definitely the Queen of Soul.
Her soulful sound touching the souls of many across the world.
Do you think there'll ever be another Aretha?
Never. She was the one and only Queen of Soul.
Val Amos King is one of many Toledo residents who made the trip of I-75 to pay her final respects at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History.
And it made it really real that she is gone. She was such a musical icon in the industry, and not only that, she was definitely involved in the civil rights movement, which we are very thankful for.
A life fully lived and loved.
Her music, her lyrics, it touched your heart and soul.
Impacting generations to come.
I have a granddaughter. She's 3 years old, and since her passing, I've been playing the music, and she's even learned some of the notes.
A one-of-a-kind voice.
I don't know what you're doing, but you must be living right.
Celebrated.
So jump in. Ain't no sin to take a ride in my machine, known as the pink Cadillac. Hey, Detroit.
It really has been a celebratory mood out here today. Not somber at all, folks here celebrating the life of Aretha Franklin. Now, the viewing here today ends tonight at 9 p.m. It picks up tomorrow morning at 9. It continues until 9 p.m. And then Thursday, Aretha Franklin's body would be moved to New Bethel Baptist Church. That's the church where she got her start at the age of 14. The church also where her pastor once led the congregation there. The city of Detroit preparing for the big day Friday. That is her farewell send-off. That service expected to draw thousands to the area. Coming up at 5:30, I'll show you exactly how you can watch that service and pay tribute to the Queen of Soul. Live in Midtown Detroit, Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.
Our Andrew Kinsey live in the Motor City tonight with details on the star-studded lineup for her funeral service. Andrew?
Yeah, Dan, it's going to be quite explosive. That Friday ceremony only for family, friends, and close dignitaries, which is why fans of Aretha Franklin have been showing up here at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History all day long to say their final goodbye to the Queen of Soul. Some 9,000 at last count. As you know, Aretha Franklin loved by so many, which has been quite evident in the turnout here in the city since her death, with special tributes and celebrations drawing in thousands of fans from all over, including Toledo. Now, city officials expect that turnout to increase Friday for the funeral, with many fans simply looking to witness this historic event from outside. In fact, her funeral at Greater Grace Temple already being called the largest in the city's history, with more than 4,000 people attending inside and an all-star lineup of 19 performances by music greats like Stevie Wonder, Faith Hill, Jennifer Hudson, Shaka Khan, and Jennifer Holliday. President Bill Clinton among the list of high-profile speakers set to reflect on Aretha Franklin's life. I'm told preparations for this big send-off have been quite intense, with a major focus on details.
For her last day above ground, we need to make sure that this house is packed.
Now, security at the church expected to be quite tight due to the number of dignitaries expected. I'm told there'll be large TV screens set up outside of the church on 7 Mile, so people who do show up that can't get in can still say one final goodbye to the Queen. That service, I'm told, expected to last close to 7 hours. You can catch every moment of it live on WTOL.com. Live in Midtown Detroit, Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.
Andrew Kinsey live in the Motor City at Charles Wright Museum of African American History with more tonight. Andrew?
Yeah, Dan, this has definitely been a celebration of life for the Queen of Soul here in Detroit. A steady stream of people showing up all day, making their way inside to say one final goodbye to Aretha Franklin. As you know, Aretha loved the city of Detroit. That love quite evident here today with people showing up to pay their respects. I'm joined by Tracy Ballard, a fellow Detroiter, here to pay a final goodbye to the Queen,
yes,
the woman with the golden voice,
yes,
who many say won't be duplicated.
I agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. I've been here 52 years in the city of Detroit. I am actually the niece of Florence Ballard, a Supreme, and so music is in my roots. So my friend and I, Anita, would not pass up the opportunity to come down here tonight and pay our tribute.
What was it about Aretha that so many people connected with?
The soul. She was real. She was real. She touched. I told my oldest son, for every part of your life, there is a song that Aretha Franklin has for you. She's got a gospel song. She's got a breakup song. She's got a happy song. She's got a move and shake it song. She is very enriched with the people of the city of Detroit.
Tracy, thank you. A lot of people showing up here, showing respect for Aretha Franklin. The viewing here set to end tonight at 9 p.m. It starts again tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll carry the service live Friday with a star-studded homegoing service on WTOL.com. Live in Midtown Detroit, Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
That is where we find our Andrew Kinsey live. And Andrew, the tributes to the Queen of Soul today are going to be very vast, and a lot of people are going to be there.
Yeah, already seeing those people, Tim. We're about 3.5 hours away from that star-studded celebration of life for Aretha Franklin here at Greater Grace Temple in Detroit. Take a look here behind me. This is 7 Mile here in Detroit's west side. You see it shut down. If you pan over, you see people standing behind me. All these people waiting for their another opportunity to get inside to say one final goodbye to the Queen of Soul. As you know, initially, this service was initially closed only for family, friends, and dignitaries. However, late last night, the church opening 1,000 seats for the public. I'm joined now by Michelle George. She is in line trying to get inside. Michelle, why was it important for you to be here today to get inside to see the Queen one final time?
Well, a lot of times I go see the Queen when she's doing a Thanksgiving service and feed everyone. And then I love the gospel music with the Mighty Clouds of Joy. So I follow her on the gospel side. So that's why, and her voice is a national treasure. And she has touched lives all over the world. I volunteered the last 2 days at the African American Museum. They came all over the world to see her. So God blessed her voice. And like I told one of her nieces, it's going to be, her voice is anointed and it will live on forever.
Michelle, thank you so much. And again, Michelle, just one of thousands coming to show their love to the Queen of Soul. 19 musical performances on schedule today. Several dignitaries, President Bill Clinton, Reverend Al Sharpton, also Jesse Jackson on schedule to reflect on the life of the Queen of Soul. Now, there are several ways you can watch today's service. Bounce TV offering live coverage beginning this morning at 9 a.m. We will also stream the live service at WTOL.com and on our Facebook page. That service beginning at 10 a.m. We'll have coverage throughout the day. Reporting live from Detroit's West Side, Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.
Andrew, one of the things that I've learned about Aretha through all this, Detroit's such a big city, but she was so known for her generosity, as this woman says. In fact, I read that the funeral home knew Aretha because she would regularly call up and offer to pay for funerals of people who could not pay.
Just one of the many kind contributions she gave to this community. You know, she's originally from Memphis, but moved here at an early age. She took Detroit in as her home. Also, giving to the needy, hosting those church events for the community. This is someone who resonated with so many people. And I've talked to people who say, no, I've never met Aretha, but I do feel like she is that mother, that grandmother, that aunt that I've now lost.
Our Andrew Kinsey is the only local reporter at the church for the star-studded send-off. Andrew, the music icon, touched so many lives over her career.
Yeah, Chrissy, and that's quite evident by what you're seeing here inside Greater Grace Temple. This funeral service going on some 6 hours now. People showing up from all across the country to show their love and respect for the Queen of Soul. It's the music from the soul that made the Queen of Soul a household name. Thousands packed Greater Grace Temple in Detroit to celebrate the life of Aretha Franklin. President Bill and Hillary Clinton, Tyler Perry, Whoopi Goldberg, and others bidding a final farewell.
She lived with courage, not without fear, but overcoming her fears.
Hours before the star-studded service, hundreds of fans waited outside the church for their chance to be among the group of who's who.
This is history, and this is just blood through the whole city.
Because of who Aretha Franklin was, I must say Aretha was a true Detroiter.
The service reflected Aretha Franklin's life, upbeat and full of soul.
He is my living and babe.
Dignitaries and celebrities Franklin called friends all spoke about her natural gift.
The most obviously touched by the hands of God voice I think any of us have ever heard.
I always said Aretha was from Neptune because her voice was unearthly. It was everything. Her voice, the notes, the flavors, the colors, the levels. Aretha Franklin. Long live the Queen.
Now, after the service wraps up here inside, Aretha Franklin will be buried at Woodlawn Cemetery down 7 miles. She'll be escorted by more than 100 pink Cadillacs. During the service today, the mayor of Detroit announcing that Shane Park here in Detroit will now be known as Aretha Franklin Park to honor the Queen forever. Live on Detroit's West Side, Andrew Kinsey, WTOL 11.